Hi, we're Team 3, and this is our presentation for the Band in the Box project. Our team consists of Stephen Evans, Justin Carroll, and myself, Maggie Peterson. Our design goal was to design and build 3 functional prototypes of a wind, string, and percussion instrument that meets the following requirements. On an individual basis, they had to be aesthetically pleasing. They had to be able to play at least one of the 4 pitch ranges of the ASU alma mater song, and they had to cost less than $15. As a group, the 3 instruments had to use less than 10 feet of pipe, 6 feet of string, and fit inside a 2 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot box. First you'll hear from Stephen, who will go into detail on our wind instrument, followed by Justin, who will go into detail on the string instrument, and then I will conclude with the percussion instrument.
The important features of our wind instrument is that it's small enough to fit in a 2 by 2 by 2 instrument case, along with our other instruments in our design. And it's made out of PVC pipe to keep the cost under $15, and it only uses 78 inches of pipe, which is well below our 10 feet restriction. And it plays every note in the mid-high range of the song ASU Alma Mater. And each pipe plays a different frequency, and the higher frequencies is on the shorter side, and then the lower frequencies, of course, are on the higher side. Underlying physics behind this design is to get the length, you take the velocity of sound and divide it by 4 times the fundamental frequency that we're trying to achieve, and you take that and then subtract 0.61 times the inner radius of the pipe. And since that equation is for an open-closed pipe, the one end of the pipe is capped off with a PVC pipe cap. Some of the changes to this design from the original is originally we were going to tape off the ends instead of using caps, but for some reason we couldn't get the proper note frequency to come out when we were using tape. I don't know if it was vibrating or if it just wasn't creating a good seal, so we chose to go with the PVC caps instead. And the budget for this design was $4.78. $1.40 went to the actual pipe itself, and $2.38 went to the caps, and $1 was for the paint. Something I learned during this design process of this pan flute is that you can create different notes based on both how long the pipe is and then if it's open or closed on both ends. And some of the challenges I faced was trying to play this instrument. It's very difficult to get the right angle of blowing into it and the proper amount of air and the right pressure that you're blowing the air into the pipe. It's really hard to create the note you were looking for. A way to improve this design of the wind instrument would be to base it off of a traditional flute instead of this pan flute, where you would just use one single pipe and drill holes in it, certain lengths, and then just cover up the holes to achieve the notes that you want to achieve. And that would both reduce the size, so it would fit a little better in our instrument case, and then it would also decrease the total cost of the construction. And the references I used to complete this design is everything that was from the course, PowerPoints, and the videos.
The string instrument was constructed from pine, hardboard, and guitar strings and tuners. Now, the important features of our string instrument are that it measures just under 24 inches long, less than 16 inches wide, and roughly 3 inches deep. That makes it able to comfortably fit in the band's travel box with the other instruments to be taken on the road. It used about 4 feet of string, which is well below the project's 6-foot restriction. It was able to play all of the notes in both the tenor and bass lines of the ASU alma mater, and most importantly, was able to be completed under budget. The 2 strings are tuned to different pitches, with the lower pitch string being closer to the musician and the higher pitch string being further away. The pitches on each string are changed by sliding a smooth object along the length of the string. Both of these concepts will be familiar to musicians with experience playing other stringed instruments. The design has changed slightly from the original design. The sides of the instrument were not closed off in the final build, the way that you would see them finished on something like a guitar. This allows for less construction time and lower construction cost due to needing less wood, which was the most expensive construction material. The total instrument cost was just under $11, with both the strings and tuners costing less than $2 for each pair of items, and the wood costing just under $7. The biggest challenge was getting everything done on schedule, but careful planning and good communication kept the project on track and allowed the team to meet our deadline. And of course, the next biggest challenge was learning to play a new instrument in about a day. And while I like the design, there are definitely improvements that could be made. One improvement would be the use of more support structures along the length of the instrument to make it more durable. Another possible improvement would be to close off the sides of the instrument to give it a more finished look and feel. Both improvements could be done while still keeping the instrument under budget. And the references that were used while designing, planning, and building the instrument were the course materials and information on string tension and density from the string maker's website.
The important features of the percussion instrument is its ability to meet all of the requirements of the design. It is 12 inches high, 16 inches wide, and 3 inches deep, making it easy to fit inside the 2-foot cubed box with the other instruments. In terms of cost, it only took $8 to build, and it is in line with all material restrictions since it uses no pipe or string. It's also able to hit all notes within the high note range of the alma mater song, which is the song our group chose to play. This percussion instrument has 9 keys representing each of the notes within the high range of the alma mater song. It is played by striking the center of each key with the mallet. The higher notes are the shorter keys on my right, and the lower frequencies are the longer keys on my left. Since this design is simply supported using flat rectangular oak bars that are a 1/4 inch thick, we were able to determine the length of each bar based on the following equations. A couple changes have been made to this design since it was originally proposed. Originally, the keys were made with beams of oak that were a 1/4 inch thick and a 1/4 inch wide. However, when it was time to buy the materials, there were no longer any 1/4 inch wide beams. We were able to maintain the 1/4 inch thickness, so our calculations did not have to be redone. However, the keys are now 1.5 inches wide. Due to the added width of the keys, they are now spaced closer together. To account for the extra width, the overall width is only slightly wider now. It's 16 inches wide rather than the originally proposed 12 inches wide. Since the keys were sturdier, we could get away with a slimmer support beam under it, and the new keys were also more expensive, so the slimmer support beams also kept the costs on par with the original estimate. The overall budget for this percussion instrument came to under $7. The oak planks were $5.24 for the keys. The support beams were 32 cents. The nails came to 72 cents. The wood sphere of the mallet is 30 cents, and the dowel for the mallet was 12 cents. Altogether, this came to $6.70. Throughout the process of this project, we came to learn a few things. As Stephen and Justin already stated, we gained an understanding of how much physics and engineering plays a role in creating instruments, whether it be percussion, string, or wind. Personally, I learned how to play a percussion instrument, which I had never done before. And I also relearned how to use a power saw, which I hadn't done since middle school tech ed. With a limited background in music and never playing a percussion instrument, learning how to play this instrument was the hardest part. I had to rework the design since the original material included in proposal was not available when it came time to build. I also had some difficulty finding a place to play with decent acoustics. If given the opportunity to improve on this design, I would build a bigger bass under the instrument to allow for better amplification of the notes. I would also line the mallet with a softer material, given the amplification of the keys so it wouldn't sound as tinny, and I would use pegs instead of nails for the construction for cosmetic purposes.